Hey guys, today we're going to do a little fun visual effects shot. Now you saw the final result at the beginning of the video. If you want to work along with us, all the download links to all the files I use are in the description below, so make sure to go download. Anyways, this is going to be kind of a faster tutorial today, so let's go ahead and get started by coming up here, hitting this plus icon, go to VFX motion tracking. Then we're just going to open up our footage. Okay, so here is my footage right here. We're just going to open up that clip real quick, and then we want to make sure we're on the right color management, so come up to render properties, color management, and then standard. Then we can just set the scene frames and prefetch our footage. Okay, you'll know it's done prefetching when this little bar turns all the way blue. So now let's just go ahead and track the four corners of our actual little screen that we're going to track. So hit previous frame, normal live. And then the correlation, we're just going to put to a 0.9 just so the tracking is a little more accurate and everything. So I'm on the first frame. Let's just hold control and click the four corners. Now I like hitting this little track window over here just so I can see a little preview up close. So just click there. You might need to adjust it over here. And then finally these two ones at the bottom. Now the bottom one's kind of weird, the bottom left one. So I usually just place the tracker right there, that little white line. It should be a little bit easier for us. Now let's just hit A to select all these, hit Control T to track that forward. You can see all those have made it to the end of the clip. Now you do want to make sure that you check to make sure that all of them do track correctly and everything and don't really jump around. But all of mine are looking pretty good, so I'm just going to go ahead and move on. Now instead of solving the camera motion, we actually need to do a plane track. So I'm just going to hit A to select all these points, then come over to the Solve panel. Go to plane track and create a plane track. You can see that this little box has appeared now, and this is basically where our screen is going to be. So I'm just going to position these four corners where I want my screen to be. So position that there, and then the rest are the same. Okay, so now I have all of the points on my four corners, so that is looking good. Now if we actually scrub throughout here, you should see that it tracks pretty correctly to all of our screen space and everything, so that is looking pretty good. Now we can actually go ahead and hop into compositing. So let's come over to the compositing tab. We're going to hit use nodes. And then since we're not rendering anything in the 3D viewport, we actually don't need the render layers node, so I'm just going to delete that. Now I will be using the Node Wrangler add-on in this tutorial, so come up to Edit Preferences, go to Add-ons, and then we're just going to search up Node Wrangler, make sure that is checked. It comes with Blender, so you should have it. Next thing I like to do is come back out of here, go to Options, and if you have a GPU, I recommend doing this OpenCL. It just does it a little bit faster. Finally, let's just go ahead and get to compositing. First, we need to import in our movie clip, so I'm just going to add in a movie clip node right here, and then just open this up. Since we already have it imported in Blender, it's pretty easy. Next, we actually need the image that's going to be going on our screen. So I'm just going to add in a image node right here and then open up our image. Okay, so here's the image right here, the blender.jpg. So I'm just going to open that up. Now, instead of using the alpha over node, we actually need to use a mix node just to preserve all of our reflections in our scene. So I'm just going to add in a quick mix node. I'm going to set that to screen since we are doing a screen blending mode. Then we can just plug the image on the bottom and then the movie clip on top. And then we can hold shift control and click the screen node just so we can do that. And you should notice that we are having this little weird effect right now. That's actually because we don't have our little image clip correctly positioned onto our screen. So let's go ahead and do that first. Now to add in our tracking, let's go ahead and add in a plane track deform node. We can plug that in between our image and our screen node. Now we just need to open up our movie clip, our camera, and then this little plane track right here. And I do enable the motion blur just so it looks a little bit more realistic. But now you should see that that is looking pretty good and pretty blended into our scene. We can scrub throughout different frames and everything, and it should composite it correctly, and so that is looking good. Okay, so finally we need to add the broken overlay to our little image right here. So to do that, I'm just going to Shift D to duplicate this little image node and then exit out of that. Then we're going to open up the broken overlay that I have in the description. Okay, so here it is, brokenoverlay.jpg, and just going to open that up. Now we basically need to combine both of the backgrounds, so this image right here, and then this image right here. So we need to combine those. First of all, you will notice that they are different sizes. So if I view this, this is a different size than this. So what we actually need to do is go ahead and scale this image to be bigger. So I'm just going to add in a scale node. And then we can just hit the render size and make that to stretch, and that should stretch it up so now they are the same size and everything. So that is looking good. I was able to get away with the render size just because our render resolution is the same resolution as this, so they just match. Next thing we need to do is go ahead and combine those. And since this has a black background, we actually need to go ahead and just duplicate this screen node. This screen node is basically just going to replace all the black values in the image and overlay that on top of this image. So let's just plug this in like that. And now we should see that that is looking pretty cool and everything. We can now see that we have the cracks and everything on top of our image. So even though that is looking pretty cool, we still will notice that it doesn't look too realistic. So what we need to do is I'm just going to go ahead and add a bit of glare to this actual color and everything to make it match to its real life counterpart as much as possible. So let's just add in a little bit of glare node. You can think of this as adding bloom in. So let's change this from streaks. I'm just going to do fog glow. Now I'm just going to decrease the threshold until I get something that I think looks cool. You'll notice that it's basically just added a bit of glow on this image right here. So that, I believe, looks a lot better. Okay, so the final thing that we need to do to add this in our scene is to replace the image in our plane track deform node with our screen. So now if we shift control click the screen node, finally we should see that we get this image, and that is looking much better. Okay, so that is basically everything set up. All we need to do is go ahead and render out our animation. So let's plug the screen into the composite. We do want to make sure we are still on the standard color transform, so render properties, color management, and you can see we are on the view transform standard. Next, we can go ahead and come into the output properties. I'm going to specify a new location for my file. Okay, so once that is done, I'm going to render this out as a video format just because this is going to render out so fast. So the file format, I'm going to change to FFmpeg encoding. I'm going to change it down to MP4. And then for the output quality, I'm going to change that to high. And now one final thing that we need to do is go ahead and make the frame count one less, because if we come to our final frame, you should notice that our video clip basically disappears. So let's just come down here, hit this little caret icon 1 over, so our final frame is 292. So that is the final frame right here. So now all we need to do is just come up here and go ahead and render our animation. Okay guys, on the screen right now is the final result. I had a lot of fun with this. This is kind of just a basic intro into compositing inside of Blender and also plane tracking and everything. Now if you want me to do more advanced tutorials in the future, make sure to comment down below what you would like to see. But also we have a Patreon and Discord. Links to those are in the description below. But anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.